ever told a nigga that you ain't want to be with them no more? This what the fuck happened. Mind you, I just got my fucking car fixed.
Family and friends of a teenager killed in West Palm Beach honoring her life tonight after police say Kelie McCrae was shot and killed by her ex-boyfriend.
I feel like my daughter called the wrong number.
She was on FaceTime, eating dinner, laughing with her girls. Just a normal Wednesday night, the kind where nothing is supposed to go wrong. And then, in the middle of all of that, her friends watched something happen on that screen that changed them forever. Her name was Kelie McCrae. She was 18 years old, full of life, full of plans. And the person who walked through that door was someone she had already tried to leave. This is her story. West Palm Beach, Florida, a city that sits right in the middle of Miami's orbit. Busy, vibrant, and yes, one of the highest crime rates in the country. 1 in 30 people here become victims of violent or property crime. Let me tell you something. That stat hits different when the victim is someone's 18-year-old daughter. Kelie McCrae was not a girl you could easily overlook. She played basketball. She ran track. She modeled. She sang. She was building a social media presence before most people her age even figured out what they wanted to do with their lives. And on top of all of that, she was in college studying cosmetology and already running her own hairstyling business. Period. This girl was not sitting around waiting for life to come to her. She was going out and getting it. But what people who knew Kelie will tell you first, before any of that, is that she was a daddy's girl. The kind of bond that you could see in every video, every photo, every moment they shared together. Her father wasn't just her parent, he was her person, and she was his. She had everything ahead of her. Somewhere along the way, Kelie got into a relationship with a 19-year-old named Keyshawn Shaw. And look, at first, he seemed fine. They went to prom together, they posted couple pictures. Friends and family thought they were cute. He even proposed to her at some point during the relationship. But here's the thing about a proposal from someone who doesn't actually love you the right way. It's not a symbol of commitment, it's a claim. And Keyshawn Shaw was very much about ownership. Things between them started breaking down. Kelie did what a lot of young women do. She tried to fix it, tried to make it work, tried to give it time. But eventually she came to a decision that should have been the end of the story. She told him it was over. That's when it got dangerous. Now here is where you need to pay attention, because this is the part that matters most. Keyshawn had been living with Kelie, and when she ended the relationship, he had nowhere else to go. So she, being the kind of person she was, let him stay. Out of kindness, out of practicality, maybe out of the hope that he would just quietly find somewhere to land. He didn't. Instead, he started making her life a nightmare. He tracked her every move. He didn't want her going anywhere without him. He couldn't accept that she had moved on, and he made sure she felt that every single day. Like, imagine trying to live your life, build your business, be free, and there is a grown man following your every step because he cannot cope with the word no. Kelie's friends saw the signs. One of her closest friends had a conversation with her that was so direct, so clear, it honestly should have been all the warning anyone needed. Her friend told her, "He literally don't love himself enough to leave you alone. In his head, it's either you with him or you with nobody." And Kelie, she already knew. She replied, "He dead ass." She knew. She wasn't confused about what he was capable of. She wasn't making excuses for him. She was a young woman looking at the truth of her situation with clear eyes and still trying to find a safe way out. She even started posting about it. On her Instagram, she shared videos of what was happening, her fear visible on her face, her 6'4" ex-boyfriend closing in on her. One video showed the moment he jumped onto the hood of her car as she tried to drive away. His body weight destroyed her entire windshield. She captioned it the way only Kelly could: real, raw, unfiltered.
Never told a nigga that you ain't want to be with them no more. This what the fuck happened. Mind you, I just got my fucking car fixed.
She wasn't hiding. She was telling people. She was documenting. She was saying, look what is happening to me. And then, the day before everything fell apart, Keyshawn crossed a line that should have ended this whole situation for good. He pointed a gun at her. He looked her in the face and told her that if she didn't take him back, he would kill her. Kelly called the police. She reported it. A warrant was issued. Aggravated assault with a firearm. Domestic battery by strangulation. Officers found Keyshawn driving around town and moved in to arrest him. He ran, led them on a 5-mile chase. And then they stopped pursuing him. Terminated the chase because it was getting unsafe. Oh, so now it's unsafe. Keyshawn Shaw was out there, armed, with a warrant on his head, having just threatened to kill his ex-girlfriend, and the police let the chase go. Kelly went home that night knowing he was still out there. Her last Instagram post before everything happened was a picture of him, with a caption that read, "If something happens to me, this idiot did it." She was her own witness. She was her own warning system. And she was terrified. It was a Wednesday night. Around 9:40 p.m., Kelly was home on 13th Street. She had eaten dinner, settled in, and got on FaceTime with her friends. The way young women do. The way you do when you just want to be around the people who make you feel normal, safe, seen. Her friends were on the other end of that call, laughing with her, talking with her, just living. And then Keyshawn Shaw walked through that door. What happened next, her friends watched in real time. They saw him come in. They saw what he did. He opened fire. She didn't have time to run. She didn't have time to scream for help. She was there 1 second, and then she wasn't. Her friends were still on that screen, watching, unable to do a single thing. A neighbor heard the shots and ran toward the house. By the time he got there, the door was locked. Kelly's mother let him in, and when he walked inside, Kelly was already on the floor. Her mother called 911. "Somebody just came in here and shot my daughter." The operator asked her, "Is this your daughter?" And her mother, her own mother, said, "Yes, I think so." Let that sit with you for a second. That woman was so shattered in that moment that she couldn't even confirm with certainty that the body on the floor was her child. That is what this kind of violence does to a family. That is the real cost of it. Officers arrived and worked to save her, but 30 minutes later, Kelie McCrae was pronounced dead. Moving on, because we have to, when police searched the rest of the house, they found Keyshawn. He was in the living room, slumped against the wall, unconscious. He had turned the gun on himself after shooting Kelly. Both of them were rushed to the nearest hospital in critical condition, in 2 separate rooms of the same building. One fighting for a life that had already been stolen, the other fighting for a life he had just chosen to throw away. Detectives moved fast. They spoke to the 3 people who had been on FaceTime with Kelly when it happened. 3 witnesses who had watched a murder unfold through a phone screen and couldn't do anything but call for help. Their accounts were consistent. They saw Keyshawn enter. They saw him shoot her. There was no question about who did this. Investigators also had the paper trail Kelly herself had laid out, her Instagram posts, the videos she recorded of him stalking her, threatening her, destroying her car, the messages, the police report she had filed the day before. She had handed them everything they needed, and she had done it while she was still alive and scared and hoping someone would act on it in time. Probable cause for first-degree murder was established. Keyshawn Shaw was formally charged with the killing of Kelie McCrae, but he would never see the inside of a courtroom. 16 hours after Kelly was pronounced dead, Keyshawn Shaw died from his injuries, still in the intensive care unit of the same hospital. 2 families destroyed, one case that would never get a verdict. And that is where the grief could have ended, with a closed case and a quiet burial of the truth. But Kelly's family wasn't done, because the question that nobody in law enforcement wanted to answer was sitting right there in the open. The police had a warrant for Keyshawn's arrest. They found him. They chased him. They had every reason in the world to keep going. And they stopped. Girl, they stopped. Kelly's mother, Marla McKinney, said something that has stayed with people who followed this case. She said that if her daughter had called the sheriff's department instead of the West Palm Beach Police Department, maybe she would still be here. That's not just grief talking. That's a mother who looked at every single decision that was made in the final 48 hours of her daughter's life and traced the exact points where the system failed her. According to the family's attorneys,
after the pursuit was called off, at no point in time did any of the officers offer Miss McCrae a safe place to go. They didn't offer to relocate her to an undisclosed location to keep her safe from someone who was foreseeable to come back home and possibly commit another violent crime. And that's exactly what happened the very next day.
They issued the warrant, they found him, they let him go, and they sent her back into the same house with the same danger waiting to return. The family filed for documents. They demanded answers, and they made it clear, if those answers didn't come, a lawsuit against the city was next. Because accountability doesn't stop just because the person who pulled the trigger is gone. Kelly had done her part. She reported it, she documented it, she told her friends, she told the internet. She even told herself, posting his face online and writing that if anything happened to her, he did it. She knew. The people around her knew. The police knew. And she still ended up on that floor. There was no trial. There was no day in court where Kelly's family got to sit across from the man who took her and watch a jury hold him accountable. There was no sentencing, no final statement, no justice that looked the way justice is supposed to look. Keyshawn Shaw died in a hospital bed, the same hospital where Kelly was pronounced dead, 16 hours after she was gone. He made sure of that. And in doing so, he took one more thing from her family, the chance to see him answer for what he did. What was left was a warrant that never got served, a charge of first-degree murder that died with him, and a family standing in the wreckage of all of it, asking the only question that still had somewhere to go. Why didn't the system stop this when it had the chance? The family's attorneys were not quiet about it. They laid it out plainly. The West Palm Beach Police Department had a warrant for Keyshawn's arrest on the evening before Kelly was killed. Officers found him, initiated a chase. 5 miles in, they called it off. And nobody, not one person in that department, called Kelly to tell her he was still out there. Nobody offered her a safe house. Nobody sent a car to sit outside her home. Nobody treated her like a woman whose life was in immediate danger, even though every single piece of evidence said exactly that. The family demanded the police records. They wanted the documentation, the body cam footage, the internal communications, everything. And they made clear that if the city didn't hand it over, they would see them in civil court. Because when the criminal system closes a case by default, the only door left open is accountability. And this family was walking through it. Anyways, let's talk about who Kelly actually was, because that part of the story deserves its own space. Hundreds of people showed up to honor her. Purple balloons, tears, music, stories. The kind of vigil that tells you everything about how a person moved through the world, because you can see it in the faces of every single person who came to say goodbye. Her family made a choice in the middle of their grief that was honestly remarkable. Kelly's uncle, Aiken, spoke to the press and said something that stopped people in their tracks. He said,
"Do you feel blessed for the time that you had with Kelly?"
Absolutely. I wrote in my journal last night that, the tragedy isn't that she died. We all must go the way that Kelby went. The tragedy is probably in how she died and how old she was when she died. I never would have thought this could happen. I believe that if there is a prevailing message through this experience, is that we should be highlighting the need to protect our girls through making sure they know what to do if they find themselves in a situation like this.
They refused to let the worst moment of their lives become the only thing people remembered about her. They celebrated her instead. Her hustle, her beauty, her laugh, her gift for making the women around her feel seen and cared for. And her father, her person, her partner in every goofy video and quiet moment, was carrying a loss that words don't really reach. But even in that, the family stood together, unbowed. Her uncle also said this, and I want you to hear it clearly. They were hoping that maybe a woman watching from the outside, a woman who recognized something familiar in Kaylee's story, would see it and find the courage to get out. That maybe some good could come from something this painful. That was the last gift Kaylee's family tried to give the world. And it matters. Now, here is what I want to leave you with. Kelie McCrae did everything that people tell victims to do. She documented the abuse. She called the police. She told her friends. She filed a report. She put his face on the internet and wrote her own warning in plain language. She was not silent. She was not in denial. She was a young woman actively trying to survive a dangerous situation, and she was failed. Not by her own choices, but by a system that had every tool it needed to protect her and chose not to use them. Let me tell you something. The conversation around domestic violence always finds a way to circle back to the victim. What she should have done differently, why she didn't leave sooner, why she let him stay. And that conversation is a distraction. A 6'4" man threatened to kill her the day before he did it. The police had a warrant. They let him go. That is the story. Kelly was 18. She had a cosmetology business, a college enrollment, a modeling career, a music career, a father who loved her deeply, and a whole life that was entirely hers to build. She was not a cautionary tale. She was a person, and she deserved to make it to 19. If you are watching this and something in Kelly's story feels familiar, if there is someone in your life who tracks your moves, who cannot accept the word no, who has made you feel like leaving is more dangerous than staying, please reach out to someone. A friend, a family member, a domestic violence hotline. You do not have to wait until it escalates to ask for help. Kelly's story is proof that the time to move is before the worst happens. Her family said they refuse to mourn, they choose to celebrate. So let's honor that. Let's remember Kelie McCrae, not as a victim, but as an 18-year-old girl who was vibrant and talented and deeply loved, and who deserved every single year she didn't get to live. Rest easy, Kelly.